Defund the police. You know the slogan. It's become an absolute disaster for the Democrats. In fact, the political fallout from that absurd, ridiculous, farcical, and patently deadly slogan is causing the Democrats to actually make the insidious claim that defund the police is a Republican idea. In this video, we're going to take a look at the desperate attempt by Jen Circle Back Psaki at trying to pin the defund the police disaster on the Republicans, how even the mainstream media is laughing at such futile attempts, and how the skyrocketing crime in cities across the nation are politically crushing the Democrats more and more with each passing day. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, we are your daily fake news antidote, as each and every day we provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is BioTrust and their awesome immune system supporting product, Ageless Body. Ageless Body combines 5 of the world's best immune supporting powerhouses to boost your immune system like nothing else. And best of all, if you click on that link below right now, you can get Ageless Body at their lowest price ever, 51% off with free US shipping to boot. So do not wait. Click on that link or go to agewithsteveturley.com today. All right, let's dive right in here. In one of the most absurd twists in the pretzeled logic of DC Swamp, White House spokesperson Jen Circle Back Psaki actually did her best to try, as far as she was humanly capable, she did her best to try to pin the defund the police absurdity on the Republicans. Here's how the twisted logic of the DC Swamp works from the microphone of Circle Back Psaki. Here, I'll show it to you. Premise 1. The Republicans voted against Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. Premise 2. The plan included $350 billion for state and local governments that could, mind you, be used for local police. Conclusion: therefore, it's the Republicans who want to defund the police. The Republicans voted against Biden's budget. The budget included funds that could be used for local police. Therefore, it's obvious the Republicans wanted to defund the police. It's obvious. It's obvious. Now, this masterclass in logical fallacies reminds me of one of the logic puzzles I used to ask my students to unravel in terms of what's wrong with it, right? I would tell them, elephants have ears, my sister has ears, therefore my sister is an elephant. Right. Beware twisted logic, right? The simple fact of the matter is that Circle Back Psaki has fallen victim to the fallacy known as equivocation. She's using the same term, defund the police, but in 2 fundamentally different ways. To accuse the Republicans of the same defund the police nonsense that Democrats have been championing simply because they opposed a spending bill is beyond absurd, and it's precisely why so many of us have lost confidence in the DC Swamp. Fortunately, a Fox News reporter asked her if she could name a single Republican who supports the defund the police movement. And of course, Psaki needed to circle back on that one. She was left to continue to spin her web of fallacious absurdities. But absurdities notwithstanding, this obvious and patent attempt at blaming the Republicans for what the Democrats have overtly and publicly championed for over a year now is an admission. And that's the key to understanding what's going on here. It is a blatant admission that the Democrats have lost the defund the police effort. They've lost. As it turns out, the whole gimmick, and really that's all it was nothing more than a gimmick as part of the cultural Marxist remake of our nation. The defund the police gimmick has backfired big time against the Democrats, and Circle Back Psaki knows it. She knows it, Biden knows it, Harris knows it, Pelosi knows it, all the Democrat leadership knows it. Check out the video I did on the article that former Prime Minister Tony Blair wrote just a few weeks back entitled, Progressive Left Faces Extinction. You're going to love the video. It's going to make your day because it shows one of their own, a liberal leftist like Tony Blair, absolutely panicked over the future of the center left in Europe and in the United States because he believes it's been hijacked by the far left, the radical cultural Marxist woke left. And at one point he said it bluntly, he said the defund the police slogan may be the most damaging political slogan since the dictatorship of the proletariat. That's Marx, by the way. The dictatorship of the proletariat is full-blown Marxist. Even fellow leftists are admitting that defund the police is the single most ridiculous political slogan imaginable. And yet, the Democrats continue to double down on it. I'm sure many of you saw what happened in Oakland. The city council just a few days back actually voted to strip the police department of $17 million. And get this, they did that all as violent crime is surging in Oakland. Thus far in 2021, the homicide rate has increased 90% from the same time in 2020. Shootings have risen 70%. Carjackings are up 80%. And the far left activists who monopolize Oakland City Council just voted to defund the police by tens of millions of dollars. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these city council members end up receiving a little karma here. Speaking carjacking, again, you got to check out the video I posted on an Atlanta city councilman who voted to defund the police. He actually gets carjacked in broad daylight. It's absolutely hilarious. I mean, this is a radical leftist who voted to defund the Atlanta Police Department of upwards of $70 million. And then he ends up getting carjacked in the middle of the day in broad daylight. And then he had the gall to complain that the cops took upwards of an hour to respond. It's hilarious. You gotta check it out. It's gonna make your day. You're gonna love it. But humor aside, the Defund the Police movement is backfiring against the Democrats big time. Not only are they getting crushed in the polls over this, but the Democrat cities that they have a monopoly over are utterly imploding as a result. Before we get into it, in celebration of Independence Day coming up, our awesome merch store has some super savings for you. For just this week, buy 2 of our amazing Patriot t-shirts, you're going to get your third one absolutely free. So this is a perfect opportunity to get some for yourself and your loved ones and friends. Some of the coolest patriotic shirts available simply by clicking on the link below. But this is a limited time offer. The sale ends on midnight after July 4th. So don't wait. Click on that link below and take advantage of our buy 2, get 1 free offer today. All right, look at this headline from the Wall Street Journal. Cities reverse defunding the police amid rising crime. And the piece starts, it says it bluntly, quote, 1 year after the movement to defund law enforcement began to upend municipal budgets, by the way, all of which were passed by Democrats, right? Contrary to Circle Back Psaki's absurdities, right? This is all Democrats. Many American cities are restoring money to their police departments or proposing to spend more. In New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio said he would reinstate $92 million for a new precinct after scrapping the project last summer. The mayor of Baltimore, who led efforts as a city councilman to cut the police budget by $22 million last year, recently proposed a $27 million increase. But the best example of this about-face humiliation comes from where the whole defund the police nonsense started, and that's Minneapolis, the site of the George Floyd saga. Originally, if you recall, the ultra-left Minneapolis City Council was the first to vote unanimously to disband the Minneapolis Police Department and replace it with some kind of nebulous community model of some kind. They never explained exactly what that was, how it would work. It didn't matter. Crime skyrocketed throughout Minneapolis, and things were so bad in this Democrat-run monopoly. I love bringing this up, that you actually had the Minneapolis Police Department officially announce that the citizens of Minneapolis actually ought to expect to get mugged and robbed. Law and order had so broken down in Minneapolis that if you're living there, you should expect to become a crime victim. And so with egg all over their face, the Minneapolis City Council, which again originally voted unanimously to disband the police department, had to turn around and unanimously approve over $6 million in additional funding for the police after a massive backlash against the Defund the Police efforts. After month after month after month of rising crime rates, the very ultra-left Marxist City Council that initially voted to completely defund the police department did a total about-face and voted to give the police department $6 million more than the police department requested. The Democrats are collapsing over this. To defund the police absurdity has been an abject disaster for this ridiculous excuse for a political party. And given that the 2022 midterms are just around the corner, we can only expect more futile attempts by the Democrat leadership in the DC swamp to try to distance themselves from it, all as the skyrocketing crime daily calls the Democrats' failures out. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on Gwen Berry absolutely humiliating herself. The BLM far-left activist thought she understood history. Let's just say she failed big time. You're not going to want to miss this, so make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there.